Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to another video. It is the 12th of October. It's a Saturday. It is 2:50 p.m. in the afternoon. Welcome back to those who are tuning in. I have a poem here by Anais Nin. A friend had sent me a quote of hers. When I looked her up, I realized that I had done a video on one of her poems before called Risk. One of my favorite poems, actually. It was one of the shorter ones, but I think I've done two videos where I've read that one. Really good poem. But I've got another poem called The Storm. And I just wanted to read it out. The Storm. Under the weight of the rain that is falling in huge drops under the name cheetah, for it brings a second night, the clear skies illuminating the earth for a second, and the frightens the sleeping birds, with a great clap of thunder, and like bitter tears, the drops of rain become noisily mixed with those already fallen. Nature, frightened, hides under the rustling leaves. The flowers close under the brutal dew, and the soaked earth boasts of bearing this squall alone. The birds, flapping their wings, lift themselves up and murmur softly, the storm. On the sea, the holy anger becomes rage. The waves beat furiously, sharing the sky's fury. The gloomy wind blows and beats the sails with a clamor, while the ocean, in a supreme effort, hasting and becoming one great wave, a new voice conjuring, and in its sad and plaintive timbre, a new voice among the other cries. And while the terrified seabirds seek a hiding place in the depths of a few rocks along the coast, the seamen in their crumbling boats shake their heads, saying, "Here is the storm." And God contemplates his work, a smile appearing in the white beard, seeing the fear in his black columns becoming white. And while the weather continues shuddering, God says to himself softly, "Poor man, he cannot see anything in my greatness. Blind, undisciplined, poor man." It's a storm. Ooh, I like that one. That was a good one, actually. Just of a quick reflection. And I don't want to make this. I don't usually try and make my videos religious in any sense, but it comes off as a religious poem when it feels like a contrast of a higher being of God and nature. And yeah, I like it in the sense that it shows how insignificant, the human is when it comes to nature. Something so big and so powerful, and God controls the big and powerful, which is nature. If I was to relate it back to anything, it's the storms in America, the floods in America, the hurricanes, the storms that usually hit like in Queensland. Even last year, I remember how insignificant my life was when the storm hit, the cyclone was going to hit North Queensland, where everything stopped. Work stopped, normal services stopped when it came to work and like buying food and getting fuel and all the essentials. Everything stopped for the cyclone that was going to come and hit North Queensland. And one thing I remember thinking was, it did not give a shit about what we had planned for that day. It was going to come and hit us. We didn't know where it was going to hit us. We didn't know how it was going to, or how hard it was going to hit us. But we were insignificant to it. And when you compare that to nature, I can only compare that to life in general. And you can prepare for everything. But when life hits you with these trials and tribulations, it's not so much about it is about how you prepare, but it's also how you get back on your feet. So I like this. I like this in the sense that God, nature, something was some higher being was just like, you're so silly for thinking that you could have any control in what was going to happen, and you're so scared of it. But there's something beautiful about a storm. There's something beautiful about the unknown, and it's usually the lesson in it. Where does it say? Seeing the fear in the black columns becoming white, God says to himself softly, "Poor man, he cannot see anything in my greatness. Blind, undisciplined, poor man. It's a storm." I don't know why I feel like a storm is a lesson, or a trial or tribulation where you can go and you can learn something. And often we have fear. Often we have, which is understandable, but often we have fear, and often we have anxiousness leading into it, that it often covers the lesson that we're meant to be learning. And man, a lot of rambling. I like it. My friend sent me a quote that I wanted to read out as well, and it's by Anais Nin. People living deeply have no fear of death. And it just comes to, I can relate it back to, in a sense, that that's the beauty of life. I think if you're living it, if you're embracing everything that comes, the unknown and the known, I think you have an acceptance of everything that comes with it, and death being the ultimate of the inevitable, which is very humbling. I think when you think about it, we build our lives of all the things that, what makes a good life essentially is something that's supposed to be happy and supposed to be joyful and to be have all the riches or the materials of the world. But at the end of the day, when death comes knocking on your door, I think you really start to, I think when you put it in perspective as into what actually matters in the world. And it's a good reminder. I mean, it's not something that I think about a lot, death, but it is a good reminder that we are only on this earth for a portion of time, and to embrace all the storms that come my way. All right, deuces. I'll see you guys tomorrow.